Title IX to me means opportunity.
I didn't really know anything about it except for that it was for equality.
Well, Title IX is simply one of the most significant pieces of legislation to be passed in the 20th century.
Well, Title IX means to me that my doctor is a woman, my accountant is a woman, my dentist is a woman.
I had no clue what it was, what it meant.
It's a sense of validation.
Title IX is in jeopardy for our future.
In 1972, there was an increase in the female population interested in athletics and academics. The only problem was that there was not enough funding to add any more female athletics and courses to the college program. When Title IX was passed, the funding had to be equalized. Only adding more funding to female programs leaves less for men. Because of this issue, Title IX began getting debated. There were successes such as the increase in female opportunities, although with every successful law, there's always failures. One of these could be reducing male opportunities. But who came up with what some people call one of the most important pieces of legislation to be passed in the 20th century? Too strong for a woman. These 5 words started it all. Said by Bernice R. Sandler, also known as the godmother of Title IX. Sandler wanted a job, so she applied for one. She was an active woman with high marks, so she wasn't too worried about getting the job. At the interview, everything went great, until sadly, her employer said, "Bernice, your qualifications are great, but let's face it, you come on too strong for a woman." Her reaction? Sandler was shocked. She went home and cried. This opened her eyes to the gender discrimination happening all over the world. In 1969, Sandler joined the Women's Equity Action League and was a very active member. After joining WEAL, she submitted to the U.S. Department of Health, Education, and Welfare the first federal policy about gender discrimination. The board took into consideration the policy, thus Title IX was born. President Richard M. Nixon signed Title IX on June 23, 1972. This law only applied to colleges and universities. Then, in 1974, an amendment was passed that applied to all athletic groups in the country. There are 3 ways to comply with Title IX. The first one is the proportion law. Whatever proportion of the athletes, male to female, is at a school, has to be the same with sports. For example, if a college has 40% of its student body female and 60% male, then out of all of the athletes, 40% better be female and 60% better be male. However, if a school cannot provide proportion, then they must show expansion in the population of the gender programs that fall short. If a school cannot provide proportion and they cannot show expansion, then they must put more interest and emphasis on the gender programs that fall short. Title IX has developed greatly over time because of all the amendments added to it. One of these was passed by Congresswoman Patsy Takemoto Mink. It's called the Title IX of Education Amendments of 1972. This states, "No person in the United States, on the basis of sex, be excluded from participation in, be denied the benefits of, or be subjected to any discrimination under any education or athletic program or activity receiving federal financial assistance." As you can see, Title IX is both an athletic and an academic law. There are many debates surrounding Title IX, but the main one is it really reducing male rights? A fine example of this is a man by the name of Steve McCain. McCain was attending the University of California, Los Angeles, and he was a gymnast there. He was very talented, and he was training for the 1996 Atlanta Olympics. However, when the Title IX inspectors came, they said that UCLA had to cut one of their men's sports. Well, they decided to cut gymnastics. Steve was devastated. Due to the loss of his training center, he had to find a place to train elsewhere, and this delayed his training, so he couldn't try out for the Olympics for another 4 years. This is one of the many reasons Title IX is up for debate. The Steve McCain story may sound tragic, but there are always two sides to a debate. The other side, that Title IX is good and should be kept because it's excellent for women. Two examples of this are twins Ashley and Courtney Clester. They are now nationally ranked lacrosse players. However, the amazing thing with these girls is that 4 years ago, they had never been to a lacrosse game or even seen a lacrosse stick. This is why some people argue Title IX should be saved. Another reason the people plead for the greatness of Title IX was because of a study that the Chicago government conducted. They took two groups of girls. The first group were girls who had little or no athletic activity in their lives, and the second group were girls who had average or above average athletic activity. After months of close surveillance, they concluded that the girls with above average or average athletic activity in their lives had a better overall attitude. As I mentioned earlier, the main success in Title IX was the increase in female athletic opportunities. This is mainly because Title IX is known as the sports law. However, sports wasn't even its original purpose. Title IX's original purpose was to help women achieve academic excellence. For example, this graph shows the amount of money given out in women's scholarships each year. As you can see, it has drastically increased since 1991, and that was 19 years after Title IX's passing. Scholarship money wasn't the only thing helped by Title IX. As you can see in this graph, the teal bar being pre-Title IX and the pink bar being post-Title IX, the percentage of women graduating college with these degrees has gone up tremendously. The main failure of Title IX was its help in reducing male opportunities. However, there are some failures that don't involve men. One of these is a court case called Cohen versus Brown University. Amy Cohen was going to attend Brown University on a gymnastics scholarship. She was really excited, but her mind changed as soon as she set foot into the gym. There was trash and broken equipment everywhere. It was atrocious. Cohen later found out that Brown University wasn't following Title IX guidelines. This sparked a huge debate in the world of collegiate athletics. Another negative consequence of Title IX was written about in an article by Karen Owak, the co-founder and executive director of the Fairness in Sports Foundation. In order to meet Title IX standards, a school called James Madison University had to cut many of its men's sports. Some of these sports were archery, track, swimming, cross country, football, and wrestling. In fact, more than 2,200 men's slots have been cut at JMU since 2006. As you can see, there are many successes to Title IX and many negative consequences to it, and still many parts of it that are still up for debate.